I mean, at this point, I was like, all right. I think this is when I started watching it weekly, and I'm like, is there going to be a freaking amazingly animated freaking action sequence in every freaking episode? Like, this isn't even necessary. You can have like just chill. Like, it's just nuts, bro.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
bruh, it's like eye candy, but my TV screen is like freaking Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
yeah, bruh. Dude, like it's the coolest fucking premise of any show I think I've ever watched.
and he's like, "You're not gonna get a second chance. I'm letting you go this time. You fuck with me again, you done for." And he, you trash. And
Good.
Yep.
This show's funny, dude.
yeah,
This show is top tier funny.
but yeah,
I wish I had anime adrenaline.
he hit some.
Can I get some of that?
Yeah.
Never die. When he says "tall girl with a fat ass," it cuts to Toto, and he's just staring at the sky, sobbing, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You are my new best friend." Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 54 of the Unboxing Life podcast. Today, we will be discussing the just recently completed anime, lots of hype around it, Jujutsu Kaisen.
Holy shit.
I am Cameron. I'm one of your four hosts for today. With me, I have Lost in Podding, aka Trevor.
Oh, I'm the ending track of this beautiful anime. I'm very glad to be here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, with me as well, I got Sukuna's left thumb, a cursed object. Oh God, Alex, what are you doing over there?
That's me. I'm one of the 20.
One of the 20.
Yeah.
He's
Very
one
good.
of 20.
And
He's
last
like
but
an
of course,
NFT.
no goodness, we're not getting into that. And then lastly, we have Toto's new best friend. What are you doing over there, David?
What's up? I mean, I can only hope he would accept me, man.
I think he would.
What's
I think
up?
because we know his taste in women that it's just like a
Well, yeah,
loaded
yeah.
question. We already
Well,
know.
yeah. What
Right.
kind of women? What kind of women is David's type? That's the real question.
See, there you go.
I will not.
baby.
I will not lie. You would have the best gym session of your life if Toto was your lifting partner. So
That is true,
yeah.
and then I would die. Yeah.
Yeah, he would just smack the shit out of you like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, we will
pretty
get
good.
there. I'm very sure. So anyway, with all of the introductions being said and done, let's get into our traditions for this episode. So first and foremost, I'm going to call on Trevor. What do you got for us this week?
I have a quote as per usual for my little tradition that I like to do. I think this was like episode 5 or something. It might have been right after they got out of the spoilers. If you haven't watched the show,
Yep.
All right.
get the fuck out of here, please.
Yep.
Also, before we get started,
And then come
please,
back.
if you enjoy this podcast in any capacity, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you see fit, and we will read any of those reviews that you leave us. So please, by all means, leave a written review as well as your stars.
Yep. Everything
That out of
helps.
the way.
We wouldn't
Yes.
ask if it wasn't important. So
Right.
Yeah.
helps us out a lot.
Without that, or with that, I should say. This is like episode 5 or 6. Whenever they get out of the juvenile detention center, and he's like, he's possessed by Sukuna, and then he like kills himself, and then it's like I think he's like Sukuna in this scene, but
When he says it, yeah.
yeah, Megumi says, because I'm not gonna try and pronounce his fucking actual name.
What?
I can't because they say it so quickly.
Fushiguro?
But yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
He says, the only thing granted equally to all is an unfair reality. That's a pretty gloomy way to look at life, but
Yeah.
it's kind of rings true, honestly. Like you never you really know you have nothing coming into this life, and kind of have to steer your own path, and life will throw you some curveballs just for the fuck of it. You could have a great week and then just have a shitty Sunday and just feel like your life's falling apart. So when I first saw that in the scene, I was like, I gotta write that down. I even put quote in caps. I'm like, I'm using this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or
Yeah.
There you
It's
go.
a good one.
Damn.
Very true. Very
So
true.
make the best of your own reality, I guess, is maybe the one takeaway at least.
Yeah.
that is advice outside of this anime as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. next, I'd like to hear a joke.
Ooh.
Alex,
All right.
Alex, what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna shout out the Reddit user Vaughn SD for this week's dad joke. I don't understand why people hate lazy people so much. They didn't do anything.
Yes, that's good. I like that. Simple,
What are y'all pissed about?
elegant.
What are y'all pissed about? That was a good joke. I like it.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think I laughed a little harder from the nuts and bolts one that you said earlier.
Yeah.
Dang.
It was funny.
All right. Nice. Great. Nice to have a little levity going into this kind of a show, but well, as we'll get
There's
into
plenty of
this
levity
show,
in
this
the
show
show.
provides its own levity in and of itself. Yeah.
Right.
So I'll take the next spot, and then I'll save David for last, as was the intros, I think. So my fact actually coincides with a few plot points of the show, including curses, bridges, and baseball. So
Nice.
in 1985, while celebrating their first national title, fans of the Hanshin Tigers professional baseball team in Japan threw a statue of Colonel Sanders into the Dotonbori Canal in Osaka, Japan. After many seasons without a pennant win, the Tigers were said to be cursed never to win a national title again until the statue was completely recovered. Although most of the statue was lifted from the canal in 2009 by construction workers, because its left hand and glasses are still missing, the Tigers have still yet to win another national title, despite making it to the Japan Series finals 3 times since. All of this is known to fans as the Curse of the Colonel.
Sturgill Simpson is somewhere punching the air.
You're telling me
You better not fucking do that, man. Get that fucking punch at it.
you're telling me they can't find Colonel Sanders' left thumb?
Nah, dude, his whole left hand, whole
His
five,
whole left
whole
hand
five
is
of his
cursed
fingers,
object.
man,
All
Yeah.
5
and his
left,
glasses
bro.
apparently.
That's crazy.
Wow. That's amazing.
Jesus Christ, man.
It's
That's
so
good.
wild. I looked up Japan curses, and that popped up like immediately. Somehow that's like one of the more popular ones.
Do you know
More
why
known
at
ones.
the time they had such great disdain for Colonel Sanders that they just threw a statue into the lake?
I do. It's all
Where the
you
fuck
know.
is Kentucky?
It's all the legend, but supposedly fans who looked like the players on the team were jumping into the river, or the canal, as like celebration, good luck. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but apparently they had no one who looked like the first baseman, who was an American, and he was like a bearded American guy, and so they just grabbed the fucking nearby Colonel Sanders KFC statue and tossed that in the river in place of the
Why
first
do they
baseman.
have a KFC statue?
KFC is pretty big in Japan, I think, actually. And they have the
Why?
whole like
It's a
they have the
restaurant.
whole like pageantry of it as well. Yeah.
It's called Kentucky Fried Chicken.
I know, right? It's a global phenomenon.
Yeah,
still.
dude.
Jesus Christ.
And it's not even good. It's not even that good. Like, come
No,
on.
Popeyes is superior. I won't lie.
Yeah, that's funny.
I actually really wonder what the Japan KFC menu looks like. If it's similar, or obviously it's
Oh, yeah.
similar, but
Definitely
how
not.
different it is, because I know there's a lot of items of fast food items that exist in Japan that don't exist a lot of other places, especially
Yeah.
here.
Cam, do you have Popeyes up there?
Yeah, but few and far between. I think the nearest Popeyes to me is like 10 miles away.
Mm.
There's probably a couple in like actually in the city. But
We have one like every 4 miles.
yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, same with Chick-fil-A and all that good stuff. But
Yeah,
anyway,
nice fact.
All right,
that's
David.
that's that bizarre ass thing out of the way. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, my track of the freaking episode is obviously Lost in Paradise by freaking Javier Ali.
I named
Obviously.
myself after this in the chat or in the Zoom. I had to.
Yes. I figured I could go last so that we could just roll right into talking about the intros and outros.
Nice. Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
this one is obviously the highlight for me, but what'd y'all think about them?
Oh my lord, brother. Well,
Tasty.
fuck the openings, man, and fuck the second outro. Because like, what do you need them? Like,
That is a
Lost in
blasphemous
Paradise,
take, by the way.
brother. You said a
That is
blasphemous
what?
take.
Mm-hmm. That's
Man,
a
fuck all those
blasphemous take.
tracks.
I think
You
in
not-
terms of a show, I mean it's hard to compare because like certain shows have like 4 or 5 seasons, whatever, all that good stuff, and then a lot of the endings I just like skip through most of the time because they're just like low effort or not even low effort, but just like not important. But for me, I think this show in like a condensed season, having 4 openings and endings combined, has like the highest average quality of intro outro.
I don't remember the second outro. I'll be honest with you.
It's it's the one where they're like, going to they have like a beach day or whatever, and it's all like emotional and
it's
point
got
of view. Yeah.
it's got a gorgeous piano to lead in, and then amazing, really peaceful vocals. It's super wholesome. It just shows them like being kids playing around. It's great.
Yeah, I think it's really good.
Man, I'll tell you what. I was watching the show going into the second half. Every time I watch an episode, I just watch the outro at the end, just because I kind of look forward to it in a way. I get to the second half of the show, they changed the intro. I didn't know why. Didn't think they wouldn't change the outro, but when they changed the outro, I was like, no, no. It hurt. It kind of hurt.
I have to agree because that's, I think your track of the week there, David, Lost in Paradise is top 2 not to, absolutely number 1 favorite ED of all time. I think for me, I don't think there's one that tops it in terms of the song and the animation, and then they combine and it's just like god tier. So I
agree. That's the best anime outro I've ever seen. Easy. Not necessarily easy, but there's a little bit of competition, but not much. I mean,
I think I wore like the perfect shirt. This is a Hobo Johnson shirt, but look, like,
the way it's colored.
Like the way they animate it, it's like they take everything you would have learned in art school and art class in high school, and they're just like, color in between the lines, you prick. And it's just like, nah, fam, fuck that. I want all my shit out. Like
it's freestyle, it's levity, it's simple colors that just work together. It's very well designed.
Like
Go ahead.
It's like looking into these manga anime artists' sketchbook. It's taking a peek at their pages. They're drawing it rough, but it's still clean.
It's like concept art. Yeah,
they're having fun. It is concept art because the characters are not at all what they are in the show. They're just having fun.
And Gojo Sensei just comes in doing one of these, man.
They're all dancing.
He does the Spider-Man 3 like Tobey Maguire, but he actually does it correctly, and it's fucking fire, man.
Gojo coming in through the door at that part of the song is one of my favorite moments of the show. I'm not gonna lie. That's in the outro.
Can you hit us with the
note,
Trevor?
I think he is the perfect character. What?
Can you hit us with the note? That was very good, actually. That was real nice. Good job. Yeah.
I've been doing it like offline by myself.
Yeah, man. The horns, the vocals, everything is
the sax.
The sax,
man.
It is as funky as groovy. Makes you want to get up and dance. It's a perfect track of the week, honestly. It's just
so good.
Perfect song. And shout out to Ally, whatever how you pronounce their name. They're the band that's responsible for this. They also make music, like legitimate music. So please go and support them. They're great.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and then I think I prefer the second intro to the first. I like the first still. I think the animation's really cool. You can take your headset off. You're blasphemous. That's fine. I think there's a lot of good imagery, really gorgeous animation. They have the curse, which we'll get into, with the patchwork face, is blowing bubbles, which is supposedly a reference to this very famous chapel gravesite in Germany, and the artwork above which is called Death Blowing Bubbles. And the bubbles are supposed to symbolize the fragility of life and all that stuff. So they really went hard with all the symbolism and the metaphor and did a lot of effort. And I don't think I've ever seen I've seen it, but rarely do you see something as clean as when that bubble pops and you see every little fragment of the droplets and everything. It's very cleanly animated.
That's true.
I'm a big fan. It's the way I look at it is I basically always watch the intro and outro to the show, which is just not something I do on a regular basis unless it's that good. So I love them both. I love them all. All 4.
Yeah. I like the intros. They're not super memorable. I think I like the first one a little more, but they're both just the animation. I think was the best part. Which usually I'm paying attention to the music, but the animation is just insane, and it's a little taste of what the frick the show's gonna look like because it's
baby.
And that's what it kind of should be, but a lot of shows just don't do it right. But this show just kind of nails it on the head with showing each character, giving a little taste of what they're capable of doing, and just
It's looking really good.
Yeah, good time.
Yeah.
Something. I'll close my thoughts with something that I've never seen done so cleanly. I don't think was the very end of the second intro when it's like the guitar finishes out and then it's the drum roll and it shows like a bunch of the frames of the intro in reverse and then like caps it off, and it just like, I don't know, it hits me every time. I don't know how to describe what it makes me feel or how good it is, but it's so cool. It do go hard. Yeah.
It do go hard.
Very much.
We are 15 minutes in almost. Would we like to get into the actual show?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Let's jump into this shit. Oh, oui.
Episode numero uno. Starts
episode. Yeah, no.
It's a really good narrative storytelling. I know some people don't like it, but I believe it's called In Medias Res when they start in the very middle, like in the middle of the plot, and then go back. It's a pretty common way, yeah. And I know it drives some people insane, but I think they execute it very, very well. Where you're just in this absurd prison cell with candlelight. You don't like, if you know nothing about the show, walking in and you see this, you're like, what the fuck is going on? What is this prison cell? Who are these characters? So that's exactly what they do. What do you guys go take it from me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it's fine for what it does, but I also think that it could potentially benefit if it didn't include it. I would have to see in future seasons or installments of the show what they do with that. But it might not even have been necessary. It kind of gets you going, intrigued, like what is happening here. Stuff is about to go down really quick, but it might not have needed it. We'll see how that holds up.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the only time that kind of thing bothers me is when they reveal too much, and you're like,
yeah, all
right. And it's like, it's either gonna be that thing that they said, or it's gonna be some big twist on it. And I know, like, now I have more of an idea, but they didn't do that, so it was cool. Yeah, it was a cool way to intro it and then get into the plot, because they even like. They hit on the regular life stuff, but then they get back to that pretty quickly, like what actually happened and caused that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
definitely like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Was the pacing catches up quickly, so it works. Yeah.
I had no idea what the show was about until I read the description, like maybe 20 minutes before I started watching the show, and it was like the most confusing thing to me ever. I don't know if I was just reading it too quickly, but it was like it went from this high school kid to swallowing a finger, and then he goes to this sorcerer high school, and it's just like, what the fuck just happened? Like in this description. So I had to watch it, and
yeah,
that's wild. He swallows a finger and becomes a sorcerer.
He swallows a cursed object, and then he's attending Jujutsu High. It's just oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like now he's a sorcerer, and now I'm thinking Doctor Strange and shit. And it's just like, that's not what the show's about at all. I thought it was gonna be a kung fu like fighting flick, honestly, just the way the name was. But it's Jujutsu. It's not Jujitsu. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
sonically
it's still a deadly fighting style.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
I guess I wasn't wrong, because like Itadori's fighting style is basically just hand-to-hand combat. So
whenever they get into that stuff is some of my favorite stuff. Yeah, it really delivered on that for sure.
Yeah,
I was glad that they made him OP as fuck, but they didn't give him like ranged attacks. He was just straight up punching dudes like the entire time. It was just that, and I fully enjoyed it. I enjoyed it much more than I would if he had like a Kamehameha attack or something.
They literally make that joke.
Yeah.
Later when he's talking about it and he's talking about curse techniques and stuff, he's like, he gets like folded at the fact that he's not going to be able to do like Kamehameha, and they literally write it in the subtitles like he's all upset because he can't do the Kamehameha. So
or Rasengans. I caught the
Rasengan, Bankai. They do a Bleach reference too, which apparently was a pretty big inspiration for the show. There's a few.
I can totally see that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I like that a lot, where like throughout the show they make multiple like real world references, and not even like like allusions to it or whatever. They literally just come out and say
straight up say it.
Yeah. So that was good. Yeah. But yeah, I like episode 1 as a tone setter a lot. You get that scene where he's like in the club room, and the coach comes and challenges him, and they challenge in shot put. Have you guys ever thrown a shot put ball?
No.
It is 8 pounds. So the point of not
though.
being able to baseball throw a shot put ball is because it will literally dislocate your shoulder. The force it takes to do that will dislocate your shoulder. So homie, like the coach like takes his shot and it lands or whatever, and they show you the record for Japan and that he was close. And then Itadori just like
breaks the world record.
He's like, oh, I can throw it however I want, right? And he just baseball throws it, destroys the soccer net, and they're like, oh, it's about 10 meters above the world record, and it didn't even travel its full distance. And so he's like, okay, so I can go now, right? And so that's when Megumi sees him, and Megumi says like, oh, I wonder if he's like Zenin Senpai, who's the chick with the glasses that's like has no curse techniques, so she's absurdly strong and agile and stuff like that.
Right. With the curse tools.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's a good tone setter like that. You get the very first encounter with curses as Megumi and he run back to the school. The fact that fucking Gojo left at Sukuna's finger in just some random box in a park is outlandish, by the way.
That's pretty on point with his character.
It really is.
He's very free-spirited. He doesn't like routines.
Yeah.
He said, fuck a safe. Let's just put it in the mailbox real quick.
In a public box. Just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
So they rush back to save them. You get that first real grotesque spirit just like consuming the students whole. And then Itadori comes through the fucking window.
Yeah, just balls to the wall, like, just unlocks a potential in him that he never thought he had. It's just like, oh, I was scared. Like, he even says, like, yo, I was scared. And he just punches the shit out of the guy in the forehead. And it's like this big, like, muck monster almost. Like,
yeah, I like how they can just beat the freak out of curses with physical strength if they have enough. Like, it's not just, like, curse techniques, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that. I love the emotional setup of his, his grandfather and his whole, the backstory and the lesson he learns from him kind of like, very early on. Just like,
Yeah.
That's fantastic too. The show has a few different tones going on. Like Cameron said, it sets up the tone well early, but it's like they'll have the freaking Japan world record stuff and then his grandpa just dies like immediately. And you're like, all right.
That was like, I can't imagine you just hear your grandpa's last words as he turns over in his bed. He's like, help people be surrounded when you die, and then just stops talking, and then it's just lights out. And you're just in the room. That's heavy, man. That's tough. And that's like your only living like older relative. He doesn't know his mom or dad.
Yeah. So, and I like Itadori's reaction. He's just like, if I remember correctly, he's sort of just like, dang, I don't know how to feel. Like,
he didn't even have time to mourn him, honestly.
Yeah.
Even if you wanted to.
Not really.
Yeah. Wow.
Kind of just thrust it into the world of sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Your first impression of the techniques is Megumi's dogs, which is cool. Everybody loves a puppy.
Yeah, where he does the whole like whatever he does with his fucking hand.
Yeah, he does.
I was like, oh shit, we're about to get some hand signs. Like
Naruto coming in hot.
And then it doesn't do it the rest of the show, and I'm like, fuck.
He does different hand signs for different summons, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, it's very. I was like, oh man, he might be Sasuke. Like I was. Everything goes back to Naruto. I swear, it's like
there were leaf packs. I said it too. I told Rosie because she's watched the first like 3 episodes with me, and I'm like, he kind of looks like Sasuke, and she's like, no, he doesn't. Like, kind of looks like Sasuke. Like,
yeah, just a bit.
Yeah. But, so, finishing up the tone setting, we have the very first, legit fight of the show where Itadori is about to get fucked, and so he eats the finger, and Megumi's like, there's a 1 in a million chance, chance, and he turns into Sukuna, and he's like, the 1 in a million worst case scenario in which this guy like survives eating the finger and becomes the vessel of Sukuna, and then that's the every anime like loves to do that where they set up like the power scales and everything. And so this curse that was absolutely fucking everybody up 10 seconds ago, Sukuna, one wave of the hand, eviscerates the thing. So it's just like you get a lot of different things. And then Gojo shows up. What do you guys think of your first impressions of Gojo?
I see Gojo.
He's my favorite character in the show, but
facts. I gotta think for blindfolds, man.
That's facts.
I don't know what it is.
He reminded me of like a comical Kakashi.
Yeah,
Kakashi,
and it was
right?
like, like he, man, I don't know what it is, man. He's just
It's just, I mean, he's like reversed. They both have the white spiky hair, but he just has the mask on the top instead of the bottom.
Right.
And but his personality is just fantastic. Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
He's so goddamn casual the entire time, no matter what he's doing, and he's just like so obviously not taking it seriously. And then when he says shit seriously, you're like, oh, okay, things are happening, big things are happening. But yeah, he was like, he just shows up and he has souvenirs, and Megumi's freaking out, but he just, you know, the first shot Sukuna takes at him, he just sits on his back. It's like, so that fight happens for the 10 seconds, and then Itadori apparently can control Sukuna, and then we move on from there.
Yeah,
I think there are far too many things for us to go like episode by episode.
No, it's just episode 1. They do so much to tone set. I just wanted to deep dive a little bit there, but
we gotta go.
Yeah, no, I know. Otherwise, we're gonna be here for 3 hours, and you know.
Yeah. Which I will point out real quick. Sukuna, the voice actor for Sukuna, is fantastic, and he's also the voice actor for Aomine in Kuroko no Basket. Freaking
Is he the protagonist, or he's like a
not the protagonist? Yeah. Which we'll get into that, but great recognizable voice, freaking amazing. Anyway, moving on. It's just sort of jump into it, man. The pace is great.
I like the premise of the show where he's the chosen one again. You know, the shonen has to run with that trope, but it's an interesting premise of the show because he doesn't just like, they're not just like encouraging him to be the best that he can be like every other shonen is. They're literally saying, yo, you have to go consume these or we're just going to kill you. So like pick or choose. Like it's the coolest fucking premise of any show I think I've ever watched, where it's just like, you can choose to have a death now or you can choose to have a death later, but we're going to kill you regardless.
Yep.
I thought that was super cool.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that just hangs over the show the entire time.
It's funny because he after that he doesn't really complain about it. He just like
exactly.
Everyone.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I don't think it hangs over the show at all, but like it's still
hangs
it's still
is
there.
wrong.
Yeah,
it's still there. Like, but it's not like ever pressing. They're not constantly saying, "Oh, by the way, did you get another one today?" You know, like.
Yeah, I think one of the best parts of the show is just that it can have fun and it doesn't like it knows when to take itself seriously and when not to. So that like if I feel like, you know, in a more traditional show or just shows we've seen before, it's like, oh, they're gonna kill me after this. Like that's just, and everyone's just miserable and freaking like, you know, everyone's mean to them and whatever. And it's like, I don't know why there was this whole wave of shows that like they felt like they had to be that way, but you don't have to be that way at all. Just like, you know, have that and then have the just freaking goofy stuff. You know, everyone's genuine friends. It seems like the people who like each other actually like each other, like an MHA. You know what I mean? Like, they're not freaking hating on each other the entire time.
They have this very sarcastic and sassy dynamic to them. It's almost like they're siblings. Like where like they become much closer after he dies, but like up until then, like they had like minimal screen time together. Like the very first thing that they all do together is go to the detention center, and they basically all of them almost die. And then homie dies, or like quote unquote, and you know you don't see too much of them together. So it was kind of weird to me a little bit, like in the sense that they were trying to drive you to thinking that they were so close when they really weren't. But it works.
I get you. Yeah. I think later on it's like it builds it up better. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
they definitely have great dynamics in the fights.
At the what did you guys think the first time you saw Domain Expansion?
Oh yeah,
that was Sukuna just splitting the special grade into 6 pieces or however many.
That was pretty dope. I like Gojo's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I think it was super fire. Dude, I want to see that again. The infinite void or whatever he calls it.
That whole Gojo thing is nasty, kid.
Yeah, he's like,
let me tell you,
he is shit.
The volcano dude, that whole arc, I guess you could call it. Yeah. I was watching those episodes back to back. Right here, it was dark. I had the TV going, and I'm just like getting freaking overloaded, freaking at my face of animation. Like, yo, what is happening? This is insane. everything about it is crazy. The domain expansion looks nuts.
And this show has to have one of the biggest budgets ever. Like I have no idea if it does or not, but like
Mappa
went all out, bro.
Mappa's going ham.
There's no choppy bits of the fights at all. Like they don't cut away. They don't like let anything just still frame it. It's all fluid as shit. The show is beautiful. Yeah. It's like Demon Slayer quality. Like you get very rare shows that just put everything into their animation. God damn, it's fucking fire.
Yeah.
And they even do massively varying camera angles, and like they play tricks with that kind of stuff, and like show perspectives of different characters, especially during the fights. It's really great.
Yeah, I've heard good things about it. Going into it, I didn't know too much, but I was looking forward to it because it's a 2020 anime. It's recent. They're showing off all their recent technology, I guess you could say, implementing into these shows what they really got coming. They brought it all out on the table. I was so hyped to see.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. Is like if this is like new shonen, like this is what it can really do. Like, and this is like a sort of standard to be set. That's amazing. This show looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Both the frames, how fast they run, and the detail of them, as well as the fucking color palette of the show. Like everything looks just gorgeously done, and they picked the right thing for everything. Especially the way that like you were saying earlier, the inside of the infinite void is like absurd. At the detention center, they have a really fun like showcase of the show's sense of humor, where they explain the tiers of curses, where he's like 4 you could have a wooden bat, 3 is a handgun, 2 is close call with a hot shotgun, 1 is even a tank may be insufficient, and special grade is you might have even footing with a carpet bomb of cluster bombs. It's just and he just pulls out the thing, and it's they really love to do that, and especially with the tier. Did you guys like the ongoing tier lists, how they explain the like how the sorcerers line up to the curses and all that stuff, and how they qualify all that?
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I like a good, I think they do it well. It's not like the most complicated, like they might expand on it, but it's not like some giant society of like, okay, the 50th rank is here, and they're like, that's where we at. It's good. It's like it fits the show. It's like succinct, but I like a good shonen ranking system or whatever.
I think that they're definitely gonna, excuse my pun, expand it with
it's true,
like because it's a little
beautiful.
It's a little
beautiful pun.
Oh damn! It's a little bare bones in terms of like they've already hit their cap with special grades. Like they basically sprinkle them throughout the show. So there's gonna be another thing after that. It's gonna be like cataclysmic or something like that after special.
Interesting.
But it's like it's super confined already, and I think they've already like grown too big for the clothing that they put around the ranking.
Which I think that you like mentioned even one time, like all these different curses are all called special grade, but there's curses you can't even imagine how powerful they don't even belong in the same tier. I think Gojo says that or something. Which is dope. They're like already acknowledging that it's flawed or whatever.
It'll definitely happen in season 2.
I think so.
I will say one of my favorite few episodes of the show is when you start going to the Frankenstein looking dude. Am I the only one? He kind of reminds me of Shigaraki. I don't know.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought the same fucking thing the whole time.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but
like they call him
one of my
Mahito.
favorite. Yeah, right. One of my favorite few episodes. I actually liked Junpei a lot. The character who's kind of like he's the boy.
Yeah.
And I was kind of disappointed that he didn't.
Movie.
Like they did him so dirty. Like
dude.
I was really invested into his character. They showed you his backstory, what was going on. He's getting bullied. And then this man just murks them in the movie theater. And I'm like, yo, this character can turn out to be a dope. He goes to the wrong side at first, but then he meets Itadori, and I'm like, yo, it's all gonna be good. They're gonna be friends. I like this character, but then
man.
They did it perfectly for me, man, because they show that connection, that final scene where before he gets turned into the curse, and he's just like, "Yo, let's turn it," because he was like all for homie Mahito, fucking cocktail head ass. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean it's one syllable. Yeah.
But they show him like questioning his logic now, and he's just like, oh, maybe he's not like the end all be all. Maybe I shouldn't be on this side. And then he just gets murked, and I'm totally cool with that because it allows Itadori to grow so much, man, in that like 15 seconds.
Yeah,
I think it also reminds you that the villain is actually like a villain. Like he means
yeah, he was just a pawn.
Yeah, they're deeply fucking evil, and the whole joke was, I mean, not joke, but the meme was like the shot of them like all sitting in the grass, hanging out at the end of the first intro. They have that frame where they're all just hanging out, and then it was like, okay, so that was a fucking lie.
I know, right? Yeah, that's what made me. Yeah, I was like Alex. I was like, okay, I don't know what's going on at first, but then the more they develop him, he's in the intro. He's gonna be like, oh, it's gonna turn out all right, and nope. And it's sad as frick before that too. He's just like, they have like some actual like interesting movie discussions, and he's like clearly a gigantic nerd with like his couple friends, and then just is bullied to freaking death, and then like Jesus, man,
they got his mother like.
Yeah,
that was the execution of that plan where that's how he got Junpei to pop off at the high school, was that he framed the bully for the murder of his mother, and then so that put them in that position to do that. That definitely very good subversion of expectations. I want to talk about that fight with I think it's Nanami is the guy with the 7-to-3 ratio technique, and then
Sir Night Guy.
But before we get there, I do want to cycle back real quick to a very important plot point, which is Itadori dying, and then when they're inside of the like death realm, basically they're inside of Sukuna's soul, I think technically, and they make that pact.
Soul. I think they're in Itadori's soul because like.
I don't know.
Sitting on the throne in his soul.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how they explain it, but it's Sukuna lives on because he's a curse. So it's like I think Itadori lives because of Sukuna rather than the other way around.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, they make that pact. They're in there. Itadori's dead. They have this that really
homie like his art straight out.
Yeah, I mean that was crazy when Itadori just resigns to die right before Megami's about to unleash his ultimate weapon, which I don't think we even see before the end of season 1. He starts to chant some shit and then doesn't finish, and then I don't think we see whatever he was going to bring out. So we got a lot to see from Megami, I think.
He just comes back and collapses because he has no heart.
But yeah, he makes.
Dude, that shit was so tough to see, man. When he just rips out his heart, I was just like, man, I can't watch it. I can't do it. I like started looking away. I'm like, dude. Every time I saw the heart, I was just like,
I was imagining.
It's anime.
Yeah, I knew.
It's not anime. It's a fucking heart, bro. I don't care if it's animated. Fucking hell.
I get you. Yeah. It's
animated.
Yeah. So the conditions of the pact they try to make is that once he chants some word, expansion or whatever it is, he hands over his body for 1 whole minute, and then Itadori doesn't remember the promise, and they don't. He refuses it, and then he says, "Okay, let's fight to the death." And Itadori gets 1 punch in, and then fucking gets his head split in half. Just like that. So then we move on from there. Itadori's
a fucking idiot, man.
That that hasn't happened yet. That doesn't happen before the end of season 1. So that's why I wanted to talk about it, because it's gonna happen. I assume in season 2, it's got to happen sometime. They wouldn't bother doing it otherwise. So
Although, what is the point of making a deal that he forgets? Because that won't seem very helpful.
I think the idea is that because it's like they're like the whatever they call it, the soul pact or whatever, like it like as soon as he says it, it'll just happen, and he doesn't even have to remember it.
Dang.
So like you can just surprise him with it.
Yeah, so Sukuna is in full control. So
they asked him.
So
they asked him, "Did you make any deals?" He's like, "I might have, but I don't remember."
I don't remember.
Yeah.
So that's because that could be unexpected.
Yeah,
he can't hurt nobody.
Are you stupid?
Yeah, I think the point being Itadori forgetting is that he can't avoid whatever situation that Sukuna is going to end up taking advantage of. Whatever that may be, whatever Sukuna is looking to do, whatever he's holding his cards for, he's not going to be able to preempt or avoid. Yeah. So it's clever by Sukuna, and it's clever writing as well.
Yeah, the show does a lot of great setup, because it's like, all right, there seems like there's opportunities where he could have taken over and like wreaked some havoc, and he doesn't. So it's like, what the frick is he waiting for? And we haven't really seen fully what he's gonna do yet.
And then right after that is the Gojo versus Volcano fight, which you already talked about. That shit was ridiculous. He explains his technique about the infinity between spaces, which was cool.
Which I didn't even. Yeah,
you can't touch him.
Basically,
you literally can't touch him. Yeah. Like it's not that there's anything between y'all. It's just that you just go a lot slower the closer you get. So he just has so much time to react that it doesn't even matter. Just don't even try, basically.
I guess. Yeah.
That's a new spin on like that technique, which is I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's a really, really funny thing where they have their first confrontation and he's trying to show off his technique and they just draw him as like 3 lines or whatever. They do simple Gojo or whatever. And he's like, come here, come on, touch my hand. Come on, buddy, come on. And the volcano's like, no sense of hostility. And so he just gets his fucking ass beat. And like you said, he just gets tossed through the forest into the lake, and then Gojo just casually just goes and gets Itadori just to spectate, just like teleports to Itadori and then brings him back.
And then he's just like, Mount Fuji! He's Mount Fuji!
He looks like Mount Fuji. Yeah. And so he's just bamboozled the entire time, and then that's how they explain the dominance of the domain expansion, where Gojo just bodies, cuts his head off. And then obviously they escape. And then we meet Todo for the first time.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's where you meet him.
So let me ask you guys, what is your type?
Skip over the fucking patchwork and
no, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
He's after Todo. Yeah,
he's after Todo.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So not a lot happens. It's a
idiot too. Like just yo, what's your type of woman? Like, what is that kind of question? And then homie just like, I like normal women. He's just like, you're boring, and just fucking beats the shit out of him for no reason.
Literally half to death.
He did have a reason, bro. He doesn't have the right type of woman.
Simp.
He knows what he likes, bro.
Yeah,
he knows what he likes.
I don't know. Yeah, Todo. I don't know who's my favorite character. It's either Todo or Gojo. Honestly, I love Todo. He's freaking.
Todo's hilarious.
Yeah, he's a great time. He has so many little like.
My brother.
Yeah, the fact that he I
think it's episode 19 to episode like 21 where they're fighting the nature of the forest spirit. I think that's my favorite series of episodes. That fight is Todo and Itadori versus that spirit has to be the best fight of the show for me.
Yeah, when he just starts unleashing his technique and like they work in tandem together, bro.
Yeah,
we'll get there.
I mean,
that's like tasty, like some Kung Pao chicken, my guys. Like,
it's very tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah.
So then we move on to or you were gonna say something, David?
No, just we're talking the patchwork arc is great, I think. As we already touched on it a little. Great villain.
Right up until the death of Junpei. And then that fight is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know his fucking name. This show in particular, I didn't catch any of the goddamn names at all, dude. They literally are all the fucking same, dude.
The only reason I'm spouting them off is because I have them all written down. That's the only reason.
Yeah. I caught the 3 main characters and then a couple of those like Todo and Gojo, and that's it.
I'm with you. I had to look up Todo before I like made my name. I was like, I know Gojo, Panda, and Itadori. I think
Panda. So, if you forget Panda's name, there's no saving you, honestly.
There's Mai, there's May, there's Mahito,
there's Mai, May, and Maki. Like it's Mai, May, and Maki, and they're all like close to each other. Yeah.
Like who? Yeah.
And I think Mai and Maki are the sisters.
Nobara. Yeah. Like who? Why? Why are these so forgettable? This is such a dope show, and it's like they all have shit names.
They're just Japanese names, bro. What are you talking about? They're just regular names because they're just regular people, but they're just. Bro. Yeah, I think so as well.
I mean,
it's American problem.
Yeah, there was just a lot of characters and a lot of names we don't. I hope it'll get better over time for me.
Nobara Kugisaki, unfortunately.
There's a few animes like that to me where I'm like, I don't know nobody.
David is lagging like all day.
Oh, David.
Oh, David, big Frozen.
So
Patchwork quilt
yes,
and Sir Night
Shigaraki?
Eye.
after some
Yes.
technical difficulties, yes, Shigaraki versus Night Eye.
Shigaraki versus Night
I'm
Eye.
done with y'all. God damn.
Yo, fuck these names, man. We're not respecting these names, but
Not even
this fight
close
was
to
fire as
respecting.
fuck.
Yeah, just them in the sewers is great as it is. Like that,
Oh,
showing
yeah.
off what the frick they can do. He like
Yo,
it hits 6 o'clock or whatever, and he's like, "All right, bro, it's overtime."
Dude, he's like, because he says it before he does that. He's like, "Yo, it's 5:30. I've been working since 10. Whatever I have to do, I'm getting off at 6 o'clock."
Yep.
And then he just takes his fucking coat off and he just
And
goes to work.
He wraps his tie around his hand. Yeah, he's like, and then it like imbues with all the cursed energy. But he's like, the entire fight, the way they frame it is like, oh, if he doesn't finish it quickly, he's fucked. Like he's like, oh, like he needs to finish within his time limit. When in reality, it's the opposite. It's like once he hits the time limit, the other guy's fucked. It's like.
Yeah.
Because they do yet another bit about the the Jujutsu pacts. That's a word. Where they talk about like since he restricts himself for however many hours during the day, the rest of the time he can go all out. He's just a fucking baller. And so yeah, he chops his leg off and says, "Hope we meet again," and then pieces the fuck out.
Before we keep moving on, I love that bit where his first occupation was being a jujutsu sorcerer, and he's like, but that word fucking sucked. That was shit. So he went to be a salaryman because they introduced him as an ex-salaryman, and he's like, yo, I went to work. And that shit was shit, and I hated it. So I went back to being a sorcerer. I was like, that shit killed me.
Yeah, that was
I
garbage too.
I can relate, man.
It's just he's reminding you all that he's not a businessman. He's a businessman.
There you go, man. So true. Yeah, I loved his character. Just so like
Definitely.
This is
His
freaking
backstory
trash, bro.
is awesome.
Yeah, it's just hates his job. I love the moment of him like removing that little curse for the lady at the deli
bakery.
or the bakery. The bakery. There. Great stuff.
And she's just like head over heels in love with the guy.
Yeah.
Like, please come back. Thank you. Please come
She tells him. She's like, yeah, I got something on my shoulder. He just says, let me get that dirt off your shoulder,
Okay, dude.
It was like that.
Too many J references today, but
The Avengers.
Might not be the last. All right.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah,
lost in hope. I don't know what to say.
that after that fight, we get a little bit more context, and then Junpei dies, as we saw, infuriates the fuck out of Itadori. The black and white visual of Itadori's rage, and he has the red eyes, and he says, the next words that spilled from my lips came from so deep within my gut that it made nearly everything I've said feel like a lie. I will kill you. And he just goes ham, and then he talks about the shape of the soul being changed, and so he's a very, very dangerous opponent. And then he gets perforated, filled with holes. I don't know how the man continues fighting.
He gets stabbed with 3 different tentacles, and he just like, okay. But he's like, if you learn this later on in the show that he's like, he has an immunity to like poison.
Mm-hmm.
So like anything that like was coming out of those tentacles, he just had that like stab wound. It wasn't like necessarily inflicting any harm on him after that, which is crazy because he's just OP as shit. Like you could just shoot him 7 times and he's just like, "Ow, that hurt."
I still feel like he should be bleeding out, but like I don't know. I guess it's a whole Sukuna thing as well. I don't know that they fully explain that, but
he was probably like driven with adrenaline and not even.
And then
not even feeling it.
After the fight, he passes out.
After the fight, he collapses. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
I had anime adrenaline.
He hits him.
Can I get some of that?
Never die. Yeah, he hits him with the Tanjiro headbutt over and over again. Just crushes his skull. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
But then
I want to make a reference, but I can't. So
yeah,
David, you know what I'm talking about.
You know what
I'm talking about.
Well,
you have to tell me.
I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, then as you guys call him, Sir Night Eye shows up, and that they have that fight, and the animation of them two just like barrage of hits over and over, just literally beating the shit out of him, and the curse is like, is this what death is? It's like,
it reminded me a lot of the scene of Civil War. If you have not seen Civil War, this is a spoiler.
Right.
Please go like 15 seconds ahead. But it reminded me of the part where they're like it's Bucky and Cap just beating the fucking shit out of Tony.
Yeah.
Like in the last couple minutes of that movie. That's what it reminded me of.
For sure,
that's true. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
Very cool. Yeah, I like too something else you see in this fight. I thought domain expansion, or I was a little worried that it would be like, okay, once you do this, you've killed them, and it's like the finishing move that everyone does. But then he learns the domain expansion and does it, and then Isidori just breaks through like frick at it. He just like dang. And it's surprising as frick. Like I didn't know that could happen. He just comes in. And
it's a cool way that they explain it, because it's like domain expansions are supposed to trap the enemy, not like they're not supposed to block you from coming inward. They're supposed to trap you from going out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like he just kind of figures that out. He's just like, you know what? Beat. Just comes right through.
Just classic his character.
I love the way they explain how like Sukuna is a part of Itadori, so his soul is touching his domain expansion, and then Sukuna is like, trash.
So earlier in the fight, when he is impaled, he touches him, and they have that scene between the Patchwork guy and Sukuna, and he's like, "You're not gonna get a second chance. I'm letting you go this time. You fuck with me again, you're done for." And he, you trash. And so he breaks in, and then that like taps their souls again. And he's like, "Told you there wasn't gonna be a second time," and just like impales the fuck out of him. And there's a whole wound in his shoulder. Doesn't kill him. Slinks away.
He was dead. Honestly, I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't think he was gonna get away. They chased him through the sewers, but
it's
to no avail.
Certainly has a thing with certain characters escaping, but
pretty consistently.
A couple times.
Yeah, a couple times. That's okay, but obviously they're gonna set them up to do crazy stuff later. I don't know how many villains they're planning on introducing, but certainly keeping a few around for a while.
Right.
Yeah.
I was worried that the show, like, and I'm silly for even thinking about this, that it was gonna wrap up in like how Harry has to go through and find all the Horcruxes. This is like this show, but there's 20 of them instead of 7. I thought this show was going to wrap up with him finding all of them at the episode 24, but it was nowhere close. And I don't know why I was worrying about that, because obviously, like, it's a hit show. They want to drag it on more. I'm sure the manga is pretty well developed by now, but
yeah, right.
If it even has manga, I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's a manga, and apparently it's not too far ahead. Like there's maybe enough for a second season, but hopefully it just keeps going at a breakneck pace. Because, god dang, but I was worried about that too. Quick. Yeah, I was like, okay, there's gonna be 20 fingers, and he's basically just gonna collect. Like he's already got the one or whatever, but then they're just like whatever. That's
we know the school was holding on to some, and
it's gonna be like interesting ways that he has to get them. I'm sure.
Yeah, the show would have been dog shit if it was just like Monster of the Week, and he just goes and kills a different finger monster every week, and it's just like, okay, sick. That's the next one. Like there would have just been no development, no real plot, no real character development.
Bebop, like episodic way of doing it.
Except they did that well, which because of the way they set that up. But someone was saying something. I think.
I don't know.
Maybe, but I don't know. I love this is the end of that fight that's the mid-season finale. That's when they had the month or so break between releases. So they do, they have that awesome combat, and they do a lot of philosophizing about, life and death and good versus evil and the whole of humanity's morality. And I think they say a lot of intelligent stuff, and there's really, really good writing in this show. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very eager to see that explored more. I feel like they touch on a lot of stuff and certain things they explore, but like I was like, okay, are we gonna like not really a criticism, but I was like, I feel like in the future they'll have to just like go deeper and deeper on that kind of thing if they really are gonna develop all these. Who knows how deep they want to go, but
we're gonna find out.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna find out.
On to probably my least favorite part of the show is the exchange event. For my, like, the first like couple there's like 4 episodes dedicated to the exchange event, and the first like 2.5 to 3, I'm just like, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Typical shonen fare.
Yeah, this is where I stand. I think it's fun to watch a lot of the scenes. I mean, obviously the animation is gorgeous, and so they do the fights pretty well. It's fun to watch, but some of these characters, man, are just some kind of forgettable characters. The fights are fun to watch. I don't care about the characters.
Right, I'm with you.
Like I know for me, the two sisters, they're cool, but I could take them or leave them. You know what I'm saying? The chick on the broom, she's cool. I can leave her.
Right.
That type of thing.
Yeah.
I was enjoying the show so much up until then because of like the dynamic and where they were taking the show and just like having, you know, I'm gonna keep calling him Sir Nightai, but having like that sensei figure like in their, you know, going on this investigation path, and it branches out from like the typical shonen fare where it's like it's not always a group activity, you know, they don't always have to just keep getting stronger. We're shit keeps popping up and we're just going to do it. We're going towards it. And then it kind of like comes to a screeching halt and it's like, oh, we have to have a tournament arc, you know, like
That's it.
And this isn't your typical tournament arc. It's not a tournament arc actually, but
it works similarly with the individual matchups. I can definitely see what you mean. I like having those. I like having, you know, the differentiation of matchups. You know, you get to see some people wipe the floor with others. Some people are evenly matched. Specifically, Maki wipes the floor with Miwa, the blue-haired girl.
Yeah, that shit was that like 2-minute fight was fire.
That was dope.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
That's what I was talking about. That's what I had in my head when I referenced the camera angles. They show Miwa's perspective from inside the circle when she just snaps when freaking Mika, what the fuck is her name? Mika. God damn it.
There's like
referencing
4
my list.
names.
Maki, the one with the glasses that uses all sorts of weapons. Maki,
Green hair.
Her curse tools.
She snaps the staff in half and throws one half at her, followed up by a blade, and then closes the distance so that she like forces her to use the technique. And they show that from Miwa's perspective, and that's such like cool animation in that moment. Especially with the water, when they fight in the river and the water's going everywhere too. Like that must have taken so goddamn long. I can't imagine the hours the animators were putting in.
They don't really waste your time with the explanations. This is like a godsend of the show.
Yeah,
They're pretty breakneck speed with their I did this because, you know, I had to do this and this is why I did that. And it's like that fight was fluid as shit, 2 minutes, and like they were still explaining things and shit was moving. Like it didn't come to a halt. Like it's such a great aspect of the show.
I'm definitely in Alex's boat with the sisters. They have a whole episode dedicated to them and their backstory and how one of, you know, the one is the one that has no powers is super determined to be a jujutsu sorcerer, and the other one doesn't give a fuck. And so like they fight, and obviously the one wipes the floor. I think her catching the bullet was a little bullshit. the way they animated that
was great.
I mean, sure, like how far away her, I don't know. I think they could have, I don't know, whatever. But yeah, because
they build it like it feeds into that dynamic of she has this talent that I don't have.
Yeah,
and she like puts all of her cursed energy into this one bullet, and she catches it because she's that much more powerful than her sister.
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. Yeah, it's just I don't know the way I think it takes like 30 to 40 seconds between when it's like 5 inches from her face to when she catches it. It just like took a long ass time for me.
That's just show aspect.
Yeah, I don't know. That was the only time it like that, like the passage of time weirded me out, I think. So that's like, you know, for that to be the only one is very strong aspect of the show in general, I think. Yeah, in terms of the explaining, that's part of what I liked about the Toto and Itadori versus the nature spirit one, where Toto literally says to him, I don't have time to explain my technique. Just keep going.
And then he reveals it later.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so I get what you're saying. Yeah, this arc is like, I guess that's true. I was feeling that way. Like, okay, there's all these characters and they haven't I guess they're setting them up through the fighting, and maybe like they'll all get super interesting.
That's
later.
exactly what they did.
Yeah, which is pretty common technique, I guess. But it's decent. Well, it's good, and then the interruption by the freaking Hanami, I think, or the nature spirit.
I think that's what they call her. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I would tell you what I was absolutely not waiting for is this man Poe to go from 0 to 100. Kung Fu Panda.
He really does go from 0 to 100. You're not lying there. You are
Now
not
we're
capping.
right.
What are you referring to?
He's talking about the fight with
The Kung Fu
Mekamaru.
Panda.
The panda, yeah.
I don't remember his fight.
With
I was
Mekamaru.
Mekamaru, the robot guy, basically.
No, yeah, I
Bro,
don't
the
remember his
panda
fight.
was nuts. He
Oh,
went
man.
absolutely berserk.
Yeah,
man.
they do.
He like, activated Winston's ultimate ability. Like,
Damn, I don't remember his fight at all.
what?
Oh,
Bro, I remember being like, "This is insane. This is like out of place for what I'm watching right now." Like, this was what?
That's
I will before we
Stupid.
fucking skip over it. There was one part that I cringed my head off at, and it was when he revealed that he was still alive, and I was like, dude, that was so painful.
That
'cause he's
shit
just
was-
like, yo, I'm here, and they're just like,
the
go back, die again. What the fuck are you doing?
yeah. It had been 2 months of them thinking he was dead, and he
Dude.
just pops out of a fucking
That was
box.
so cringy.
And so
Yeah.
it's delightfully terrible. Honestly, I love that
Yes,
scene
I-
because of how
I
awful it is.
legitimately cringed, and it was hilarious.
Yeah, they do a really good job with that, where they're just like.
God damn it, that
Like,
was fucked.
because they set it up, Gojo sets it up earlier where he's like, they'll be crying and so happy you're back, and then the second years will start crying as well, and he pops out of the
Yeah.
box, and they're both like, the fuck?
What? What are you doing? This is a joke?
Bro, yeah. It's the way they set it up. He's like, it'll solve climate change or something like that. Like solve the climate crisis. And then, like, and then the door just gets all hyped, like, oh frick yeah. And then when he just turns him to look at the second years who don't even freaking know him, like, or like the kids from the other school or whatever, it's just like, yeah, so good.
Yep.
This show's funny, dude.
Yeah,
This show is top tier funny.
It's gonna-
Like I was telling Cameron last night, this is like MCU humor, but even better. Like because MCU humor is like kind of slapstick, like it's kind of out of nowhere sometimes. But dude, this show is it strikes a great balance between gritty as fuck and like joyful at the same time.
Absolutely.
I think
sure.
I think I also skipped over it a little bit, but I want to throw the opportunity to David to talk about the friendship budding between Itadori and Toto.
Well, this leads right. I mean,
this arc is like this. The
Yeah.
second part of this arc is like all about it.
to me, yeah, Toto and Itadori is like the core of this whole freaking arc. Basically.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Literally, like they're the stars of the show for like 3 episodes.
it's so good, bro. And oh my god, yeah. I hope that they like. I feel like they're gonna bring it back more and more, and like Itadori's not just gonna be because like afterwards he's like, oh, I just got caught up in the moment. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that afterwards.
And he just fucking runs out of the building and he's like, brother! And they're just like tearing up the roof. That was funny.
Yeah,
as shit.
they're such physical beasts that they're just parkouring, chasing each other
Yeah.
over the freaking buildings. Yeah,
It,
hilarious.
it's so funny to me because when he asks him what kind of girl is his type, he tells him like, big ass like Jennifer Lawrence.
yeah. Tall girl.
That answer gave my whole man a whole flashback in his mind. He like fabricated their whole origin story.
Yep.
He's like, brother, we went to middle school together, and he's like, we never did.
Yeah, they have.
I never even went to that middle school.
Yeah, it's a whole like 5-minute highlight reel of them being best homies in like middle school or high school or whatever, and it's like a whole slice of life mini episode where he like Toto asks out Tanaka-chan and everything, and she gets turned down. It's got such a brilliant sense of humor, man. Yeah, and when he says tall girl with a fat ass, it cuts to Toto and he's just staring at the sky, sobbing, and he's like,
Yeah.
"You are my new best friend." And so right after that, like the entirety of the Kyoto school tries to kill Itadori, and Toto just like flexes on him and is like, "Fuck off, he's mine. Like this is my best friend now. Like you can't kill him. I'm not gonna let you."
I love how he's such a goofball, but like everyone has to respect him because he's just like stronger than everyone else.
Yeah.
Basically, like
Yeah.
he's just
he's a
top
fucking
freaking
god.
By a lot.
It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, because
And
going
then-
into the exchange event, the entire supposed goal run by the elder principal of the Kyoto school is like, okay, go kill Itadori. Like, this is a combat training thing, but go kill Itadori, and then he gets protected by Toto.
Yeah.
So yeah, you were saying,
So-
David.
No, just I love a good bromance in any type of
Yeah,
show,
dude.
and then
Back to
And-
it.
and oh my god, I think my favorite part of the show is when Hanami attacks and like just everything that transpires, like everyone just turning to try to fight it off, like with everything they can, they still get freaking bodied. Like the combination of I mean, I know none of their names, but just freaking like throwing like all their freaking
dude.
Curse techniques.
Yeah, Inumaki, the curse speech user.
Yeah.
That first bit of the fight when they're all ganging up on him, and Maki, I think the fucking curse tools user, the chick with the 3-part staff, she brings that shit out and she like fucking swings that shit, and like he just goes like he gets sent like half a mile through the trees, and my jaw dropped. I was like, there's not many times where I watch a show and like I was like completely surprised by combat, and I was like, holy fuck, like I didn't expect him to go that far. Like I thought he was just gonna get hit a couple feet. He went halfway across campus.
Yeah.
That's right after they do that entire time when you're talking about when they're all ganging up, but they're mostly just like running away. They're like establishing how powerful this curse is, and like Inumaki, who's like supposedly super strong with the curse speech, like is like just trying. Yeah, he's just trying to get them to get the curse to stop, and like he bleeds from his throat, right, and then after that, he uses the strongest words he's used so far and says blast away and just fucking like kills himself basically, and just to like buy that little bit of extra time. He's one of my favorite characters, I think.
It's hilarious
just because of the way he exists.
It's such a cool freaking unique power and interesting way of putting it.
Because like the entire show, they set up the fact that he only speaks in the ingredients to protect people, so he doesn't like accidentally like command people and himself. Yeah, because of the negative effects, like we see in that fight. And so when he's like one of the first people to realize that the spirit has showed up. And so when he's running on the roof, and I think it's Megami and the bow and arrow guy are down there fighting, and he like pulls down his collar and yells at them, run away. So you get that intensity immediately. You're like, he never uses this on people he cares about. So the fact that he's using it means the situation is very, very intense and dangerous. And so they get that immediately, and then everyone springs into action, like you were saying.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to do it, like you're saying. And then
they unleash Toto's fucking technique and just start clapping, bro.
Okay, so, literally got clapped.
That's all you have to say. Bro, everyone is just freaking struggling and dying. They do their best. I love how they set it up. She drops the 3-part staff, and then that comes back, freaking 2 episodes later. The freaking Toto and Itadori's fight. Sheesh. They're freaking
super cheese for sure.
God dang. It's amazing already with their dynamic and just like freaking dynamic duo beating the frick out of like just like basically fist fighting versus this thing that's like controlling the like all of nature. Is such a cool freaking idea for a fight.
It's nuts.
Right.
And then
it's nuts.
By the time freaking Toto reveals his technique, it's just nut. You're nutting.
Nut.
Yeah, they just like clap, and there's like a 5-minute sequence of them just slapping him silly, and then he starts to get used to it, man. And then he claps but doesn't use his technique, and he's just like,
dude,
he throws a lot of curveballs with a very simple technique, because the way he explains it is the first thing he does is like, oh, he can only swap himself with someone else, because the first thing he does is and then he can swap 2 other people, and then he can clap but not do anything, because of course he can, and then
he can move like 2 people at a time.
Yeah, and then he can swap with anything with cursed energy. So he sends Itadori to the river and grabs the freaking cursed object. But the Black Flash episode 19 is so freaking cool. So much happens in that episode that the intro doesn't play until 8 minutes in.
There was a couple episodes in the show where they did that. It was just there's too much to stomach in the end of the episode that they just like, fuck, we don't need the intro, bro.
Yeah. So
I know for me, I always get hyped when I see the intro right at the very start, because I'm like, yo, this episode is
it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be packed.
Mm-hmm.
It does it both in this show. Like there's pretty much no breaks on this season.
But I love that he stands on the side and like he's basically coaching Itadori to the point where he's like, if you don't do this here and now, you're never going to be able to do it, and you might as well die. So he's like, land a Black Flash, and then I'll help you fight the
he literally says, like, if you're on the verge of death, I will not help you until you land this. Even if you are on your deathbed, I'm not helping you until you land this.
Outright. And so Itadori pulls it off. He concentrates so hard he starts drooling.
He's just like, nice concentration.
He lands the Black Flash, and then like you said, David, that insane fight starts popping off.
Yeah, the whole clap thing is just a perfect example of like a simple mechanic taken to like such a smart extreme of using it like in so many ways, and just like, oh my god, whoever is the writer for this series, like it's just such a great understanding of action and just shonen stuff.
Fluidity. It's fluid, man.
Seriously, I could not.
When the curse is taking the most hits and it just does the claps over and over again, the faces he's making, it's just like, it's so fucking funny. Yeah, he's just like he's nutting as he does it. And so he does it's so simple, but like the curse says, that's what makes it dangerous. And they do that whole thing where he calculates like all the factors, and he has his self-proclaimed 530,000 IQ, and he's like, the only thing I can see is victory. And so they go ham.
That was like Doctor Strange trying to predict how they would beat Thanos, and it's just like 1 out of 14 million.
It's just like, yep. And it's very. It was so amazing and satisfying. It was kind of like I wish they just like exercised Hanami right there. I was like, that
was give him the satisfaction.
Me too.
This is another instance where the villain gets away
just barely.
I was like, I mean, just make like have another villain. I don't know. Hanami is like not very developed.
Not very right.
And they haven't.
And they even like Gojo like sends a fucking spirit bomb towards him, and he's just like, nah, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, when Gojo finally shows up, that shit's outrageous. But yeah, they talk about, I like the black flashes a lot because they lean on it a lot later on in the show. The animation, the black and red, is so fucking cool to me. They do that little interview with Nanami, as you guys are calling Sir Night-Eye, where he says his record is 4 times in a row, and right after learning to do it during that fight, Itadori lands 4 in a row. So you're just like, damn, okay. Like, this is the bar we're setting. Like, this is like a high-ass bar immediately. But I want to call it one of the favorite parts of the fight where he swaps himself with Itadori as the buds are coming at him, and he has the internal monologue where Takada-chan is like coaching him in the high school classroom, and she's like think about all the information, and then he snaps and he figures it out, and then there's a little sound effect and it's like happened in 0.01 seconds, and then he turns off his cursed energy.
Very good.
But Gojo shows up in your favorite color, Trevor.
Right. He combines the red and blue.
Blue and red, yes sir.
Purple.
Yes sir. Yeah, I don't know what he summons, but he just summons 2 nice spheres and they just congeal together, and he just sends it off on its merry way.
Yeah, you talked many episodes ago when we covered the hit album Most Wanted, that you would jump anime David's bones.
Absolutely. I still stand by that.
All I know is that man pulls off his blindfold, you look into those deep blue eyes, his hair is blowing in the wind, you're like, god damn, that is the most beautiful individual in existence. It's just like,
I don't even need him to take off the blindfold.
Right, exactly. I'm right there with you. I want him to keep it on. He's so much more sexy with it on.
Yeesh.
I was not expecting blue eyes like that when I saw him.
No.
Yeah.
He's like a player. He's like a player, honestly. But
very ugly eyes for sure.
Yep.
There's nothing in the show that doesn't look good. That includes the freaking men. Okay.
That's true.
Is that what you said? The men. Okay.
Okay.
Take that as fact. Period. T.
There you go.
But that shit was outrage. We talk about the animation. That like what spirit bomb, I think you called it. That he just sends like with utter precision, and Itadori's still trying to go in, and Toto's like, "Don't take one more step, or you'll get caught in it." And he's like, and it just tears across the fucking landscape for a mile.
That man freaking shot his super across the map, like
for real.
Yeah, that charge ready.
Yeah, he certainly did.
Super. It's a fucking Nova bomb that doesn't fall. He's got the Lance ability on. Last arc.
Yeah.
Very last one.
Yeah.
It kind of lost me a little bit on the setup on this one, but
on the setup, I'll give it to you. The setup, but holy.
Yeah, once it starts getting into the actual fighting, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, like
I'm glad.
Real quick before that, we talked about the show's sense of humor. I love the baseball game. They have the descriptions, and for freaking Panda, it's wants to punch a zebra someday.
yeah, no, the baseball like little tidbit they do is awesome.
So
Very
random.
funny. Yeah.
It was like this show gives no fucks at all. It just does what it wants to. It doesn't really follow a formula.
Yeah. Do you guys watch after all the credits every time they have the Jujutsu strolls?
This little stroll.
It was excellent.
It was like that for an entire episode almost. It was like
that's true. Yeah,
funny and lighthearted. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
some of those were stupid, man.
They were dumb. Stupid. They got that one where the curses are students at like a high school, and they like the volcano has a crush on the nature spirit, and so it's like he like slash and burns the farm, which looks like it's destroyed, but it was just to add nutrients to the soil. They got another one. Right after the volcano dude gets decapitated, where they play soccer with his head.
That was funny.
I think the very last one is my favorite, where they think Megumi's getting hit on in the street when he's just getting asked for directions, and so they the three of the Gojo, Nobara, and Itadori are like formation 1, and they like go into action, and they like try to make him look good or whatever the fuck they do, and then Gojo shows up and he's like, "It's time for your violin lesson." It's like
they're not trying to make dramatic. Him look good. They were like really concerned because they were like, none of our time means anything to you. Like they were just like, why? Yeah, they were like, why are you talking to this chick when
I don't know. I don't know what they're even trying to do.
Yeah, it was so much effort into trying to actively cuck this man. I feel like
there's a lot of those good ones where they're just like, it's so separate from the show. It's really good that they added in. I like it a lot. Yeah,
because they have the fun, and then after the fun, you get into this, pretty serious. I'm with you guys on the setup. Like it's serious and like, okay, we're going back to the investigation route, but then you're like, what is there, like 3 episodes left? And you're like, what exactly is this going to lead to? And then
I was concerned. I was like, what are they going to do? Like, how is this going to be a bombastic ending? Because a show like this would have a bombastic ending,
right?
Like, like guaranteed. And they're already fighting like the League of Villains. I don't know what they call them. But,
the League of Curses,
and then they just like they introduce another set of curses, and it's like the best. I don't know if we want to like get into the
we can get into it. The setup was weak.
The setup was weak.
Like, Fushiguro was in middle school. They're all like, "Oh, we known you since middle school. How you doing? How's your sister?" They're like, "Oh, he's good." And then we're investigating
there's a suicide bridge.
That bit was funny as fuck, where Megumi shows up and he's like the delinquent bully of the entire middle school, and so like, the other delinquents are like bowing to him and all sorts of like terrified and whatever, and he's like trying to deny it, and they're all like wrestling him, and then I forget, there's one of my favorite lines from Itadori in that moment where I forget the setup, but he's like, "Oh, I'm surprised there are people dumber than me." Come on, Itadori, man.
I know, he's so self-aware.
He's a goofball.
Yeah, which I love. Yeah. Then they get into the shits. Then they get into it for sure.
The shits for sure. They do a little whack-a-mole, and fucking homeboy with the basically like a skull on his back, and it was like, why? Yeah. That is like grotesque. If I've ever seen anything grotesque,
they tell that really fuck story about this one guy who was like one of the members of the clans who was trying to breed a curse and a human together, and apparently he finally succeeded with that guy. And it was like, oh goodness.
There's like,
that crap is funny because he meets the girl, right? And she's and then he's trying to run away, but he's running away backwards. And he's like, no one can see my back.
Yeah.
And then
he's like, I'll kill you.
He flips the fuck out. He goes nuts.
You're dead meat.
The guy's like a JoJo's character, honestly, in the way he looks and acts. Like, if you guys
that's true.
I can see that.
Before they fight them, Megumi gets his first shot off at a domain expansion, kind of pulls it off. He calls it incomplete and messy, but he pulls it off to fight and kill a special grade.
I was like zoning off at that part, and then like I come back like to reality because I don't know what my mind just like started wandering, and I was just like in complacency, and then I come back and I was like, wait, where the fuck are we? Like like I read the word domain, but you have to read these subtitles, and like it kind of gets exhausting after a while. But like when I tune back in, I'm just like, holy shit! Like he's actually doing this.
Yeah,
and he's bleeding and stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Dave.
No, I forget. It's like Shadow Clone Jutsu, isn't it? He's basically just like freaking popping up everywhere and using. I think there's some sort of like shadow connection in there. Yeah, it's dope. It's like, I mean, at this point, I was like, all right. I think this is when I started watching it weekly, and I'm like, is there going to be a freaking amazingly animated freaking action sequence in every freaking episode? Like, this isn't even necessary. You can have like just chill, like. It's just nuts, bro.
It puts a lot of shows to shame, man.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Like this fucking shit is gorgeous, like front to back. It pulls no punches.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love the showcase of Homegirl's power because her power is kind of dank.
Yeah. And it kind of fucked me up when she just nails herself into the wrist, and I'm like,
in that, like her blood is in, their blood is in her.
I'm so fucking glad that they didn't do what I thought they were gonna do. Where I thought she was gonna take the nail and just start like jagging it.
Oh Jesus fucking Christ! Yeah, no, that would have been tough.
I was like, "There's no way they do that, right?" And then I got over it a little bit, but
well, that's not her power. Yeah.
That was
her power is to just slice up and down.
Bam.
She got the biggest stones in the world. Where she's like, "Oh, you're gonna curse me? I'll just start nailing my fucking arm so it hurts you just as much." Is like, play this game of chicken with me, bastard. And the look on her face the entire fight is like almost sadistic. It's so well animated. It's great.
Yeah. Dude, the tag teaming in this show though,
baby,
dude, when they just go
coordination
from the time that they go like back to back and they just like go like this and then they just start spinning around and just beating the shit. I had goosebumps for like 3 minutes straight. Like it just like I kept feeling waves of goosebumps on me, and I was like, dude. Holy shit! This is it's perfection. It's literally perfection. That last fucking fight was shit, man. Oh my god,
bruh! It's like eye candy, but my TV screen is like freaking Willy Wonka chocolate factory.
Yeah, bruh. Like Johnny Depp is sitting right beside you, just like, yo, I was in that. Like
with Gene Wilder, like wild out there.
Like this is getting wilder and wilder.
Goodness, yeah, and they finally managed to keep a villain from getting away. You think he just like hops on the truck, and you're like they're gonna let another fucking one get away, but then they call back to the first episode where Itadori runs away from Megami before he can talk to him, and he goes, "What is this guy, a car?" And he just like in the last episode he's literally keeping up with the truck at fucking full speed.
And he says like when he realizes that he's not a cursed spirit, that he's a curse user, and that he's actually a human, he has that sense of like regret instantly. Like he even says sorry like right before he lands the punch that just completely devastates him. But he doesn't ever want to kill. Like he never wants to kill. That's his like he's like Batman in that sense where he'll exercise spirits, but he never wants to kill another human being. So it like completely destroys him. But
it's even like when they got the guy's brother and he was exorcised, but his body didn't disappear. And they're like, wait, he's human?
Is he still alive? Yeah.
And we already kind of seen something like that with the with Shigaraki, his power turning humans into those things. So they're still humans, but life, and it's nuts.
It's super. It was. After like such a satisfying crazy fight, the fact that like when he's like walking and talking, like they're both like just talking in the woods or whatever, and like tears were shed over like
dude over the lives I ended tonight. I still remember
the way that guy died was insane. They had her
with the straw doll.
His arm was there.
He gets the spikes through his chest. And you see that because he looks around the bend because they're on like a cliff, and so he looks and he's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And she's like,
"What is that woman doing?" He's like, "What is that woman doing?"
And she puts the straw doll down, and goes resonance and bangs the nails in, and then he
And then
pops
he
him
just
off the
gets
truck, and then
forward.
like you said, I mean, the music is popping off in every fight. I think we skimmed over that.
The
Honestly,
music in this fight was ridiculous.
the music and every
I was
fight
like, who is in the studio every time?
are so freaking good. Yeah. And so like you said, and then I'm pretty sure everything cuts out, and he just goes, "Go man." He just says sorry, and then that one punch with all the animation,
Boom.
all the blue and black fire around it, and it's like he hits him so hard he like blows out the guardrail off the cliff. He's like, it's a great hit. It's a great final shot. And then, like you said, walking through the woods, being poetic.
That was probably my favorite fight I think I've ever seen.
Wow.
And it didn't even have like any emotional weight behind it. It was just like, yo, like, you want this finger, you're not getting it, you're not getting away. That was the like entire fight, honestly. Like that guy meant nothing in the grand scheme of things, but fuck, the dynamic between them and just the way that they deliver these punches, and fuck, man, that was such eye candy.
Wow,
so fun to see.
And it's the finale. They had the music going, and then like most finales have, or a lot of them do, and it's just like, this works so freaking well.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And then they go back and they get Megumi, and they're like, Itadori, whatever you do, don't eat the finger. And he's like, all right, I won't eat the finger. And he reaches out for it, and then Sukuna is like, nom, 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 nom. Just like the mouth pops out of his hand, and he's just like, chomp. It's like, oh, well, that's that.
Yeah.
And they're both of them like think he did it on purpose or some shit for a second. So they're like, Itadori, what the? We just talked about this. This was 3 seconds ago.
Do that.
And
Then one of the more funny parts of the show, like at the very end, they're just walking in wherever they're at, like Shibuya or something like that, and homie's got like all the bags of shopping gear that they bought, and she turns around and she's like, if you drop even one item, I will kill you. You're dead. And then he just like, he trips over it, and then she's like, what did I just say?
And she actually starts
going like this, like, what are you saying? The whole crowd of people was just looking at him,
fucking him up in public. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
and Megumi's just like what can you do?
Yeah. And then they play the outro music that they've been playing without the full outro over the setup for the second season.
The top secret mission.
Gojo pays Mei, who's the white-haired teacher from the other school, I think, pays her $100,000 USD for some unknown purpose to find. I believe it's to find out who the traitor was, because they believe there's a traitor among them that disclosed the location of the training of the school event. There's an imposter. Mm-hmm. So they set that up. That's conflict for the next season, that there's a traitor somewhere in their midst, and other characters are leveling up, and then
the part where they graduate them to first grade sorcerers. Yeah. I was like, bro.
Yeah, the 5 of them. I
rewinded because I wanted to see that again. I was like, oh, that touched me. I was like,
I'm wondering.
Toto was recommending.
Yeah.
That
was fire.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Toto and is the female teacher from the other school. I forget.
It was a female. I couldn't tell you who it was.
It's Panda, Maki, Nobara, Megumi, and Itadori all get recommended for first grade, which I'm wondering if Inumaki, the cursed speech user, is already first grade. Because, like, he handled himself. So
it's such a funny thing to say. Like, he's first grade.
Yeah.
What, he's 6?
I thought of that as I was writing. Like, promote them to first grade. Yeah.
First grade, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's the highest like level of sorcery, right? Because they're able to go a tier higher from what they are. So like a second grade should be able to fight first grades, and that's
right.
Yeah, so a first grade can fight special grades. Yeah, and they all, each of them, Itadori, Megumi, and Nobara in that end, all they qualify all the the curse, the 2 brothers. Or the 3 brothers, I guess, and then the one that has Sukuna's finger in it are all special grades. So they've all proven that they can kill one. So they've done the homework.
Grades, if these are the special grades, my man Gojo's at least in like -9,000.
Fam, that's what I'm saying, man.
Yep.
Yeah, if they're counting to 0, he's like -100.
Yeah, he's the catastrophe grade that you were talking about earlier.
Like cataclysmic,
Cataclysmic, yeah.
I'm so interested to see just with everything what they do next. But like Gojo, yeah, even at the beginning of the the second episode, he's like Itadori asks like, okay, if Sukuna with all 20 fingers gets revived, like who what do you think's happening? He's like, I would win. Like I would win the fight.
He doesn't say that, but he basically insinuates it, and he's like, yeah, it might be a bit of a tough time.
Might be a problem.
I'm wondering.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I necessarily want Sukuna to be a bad guy at the end of the day. I kind of would like totally dig it if something came that was even more powerful and they just ganged up and they were like buds. Like, because I can see that dynamic. They like, I know he like Sukuna basically just calls him a peon the entire show, but they have a cool dynamic, even though like he shits on him the whole time. He just calls him a brat. But
you want him?
I just kind of see it as like an older like uncle figure almost.
Remind me. What's the name of the green ghost in Mob Psycho? Dimple. Yeah. You want him to be like Dimple, where he's just they're just hanging out together.
I want him to reincarnate like after they find all the pieces, and then he just like has kind of a change of heart for a legitimate reason, not just like now he's good. But that would be my my vision for the show.
Yeah, I think it's hard to say just because they kind of hyped up all these fingers because obviously Sukuna is this all-powerful guy, and when he died, he was split up in all his curse energy split up into fingers. So now their whole goal is to get all these fingers. So he's like already built up to be the ultimate character, the ultimate villain.
Yeah, they immediately call him the King of Curses. Yeah.
So if they had something I don't know how I feel about powerful than him, man, I mean that'd be nuts. My man had 4 arms.
We'll see.
I mean, we haven't gotten, I don't think, much of any explanation regarding the guy that's like clearly human that works with the patchwork curse.
Shigaraki?
Yeah, dude. And so he could be however powerful. We have no idea. Basically, we haven't seen the sea spirit yet, even though I don't think it could be more powerful than either the volcano or the forest. But I like I don't think we talked about it. I like the way that he explains that is like those are the top curses because they're such massive collective fears of humans. I love the way they explain the fact how curses exist. Thanks. I love the way they explain how curses exist, why they exist, how strong they are, why they're that strong. Even like country versus city is like one of the first things they talk about. So yeah, the show's lore explains itself very clearly, and then you realize like the things you don't know you're not meant to, which I think they execute rather perfectly. So I think
so too.
Well, I think looking forward, a direction I'd like to see, they kind of hint at it, the sort of power struggle between the higher ups.
Yep.
Where some of them want Itadori to just die, but Gojo is keeping it from happening, and what are they going to do with the fingers? And so I'm kind of interested to see where they take that. That sort of internal struggle.
That's definitely where I see the show going. They have the traitor they're talking about, but they have in the episodes during which Itadori is dead, from like episode 5 to 8 or something like that. And he's like in the morgue talking about it, and he's like, murdering the higher ups would be easy, but then no one would follow me and all that stuff. So Gojo has this alternative agenda where he's basically like making his students his army to be like the new Jujutsu sorcerer, like core. Is like this is going to be
cream of the crop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this is like I'm going to teach the most powerful students that have ever existed, so that I have like all the power and good people around me, and then we can like make Jujutsu sorcery what it should be. And so that's definitely exactly where I see season 2 going. And I'm excited for it, but I would not doubt if they surprise me as well in different manners. I mean, I can't even begin to think about how they are going to go about it. So I'm very, very excited. I don't even know. I think there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, Rocio told me about that, and I was like, wait, what?
So, yeah.
What's up with this?
No, you told me that. You told me that last night.
I think I told you that. Yeah.
You told me that last night.
Because I think I saw it added to the My Anime List library and all that stuff. So I don't know any release date for that. I don't think that. I mean, the last frame of the show is to be continued. So is
They're
the word.
absolutely getting a second season.
Yeah, it'd be literally insane if they
This
did.
has an 88% on my Annie list, which is the app that I use to categorize all this shit. And to keep that in perspective, the highest critically acclaimed anime of all time, which is FMA Brotherhood, has a 90% on that app.
2%.
It is right there.
Yeah.
Like not many. I think it's like rank 14. Y'all keep talking.
That's crazy.
Look it up.
We're talking about.
Do me a favor and look up the My Anime List star rating as well, if you can, while you're at it.
It's like the second most popular anime of like the season, right behind Attack on Titan.
Yep.
It won all these awards. I mean, appropriately enough, it won an award for best outro with Lost in Paradise. So it's just like
Nice.
That shit deserves a fucking Grammy.
Exactly. I'm so excited for the potential. I just hope it doesn't get squandered, which I don't think it will. But like, just keep Mappa, keep the same freaking budget and time frame of whatever you did to produce this season. Just keep going
the same studio.
Yeah.
Please do not make this One Punch Man season 2. Please, for the love of God, man.
That's a one time.
It would quite literally be a war crime, a crime against humanity, and it would hurt my soul.
Yeah.
Crime
Seriously,
against existence.
do not fuck this up.
Like,
Please just keep it in the same studio.
Yeah, that would skyrocket us into freaking nuclear warfare if they did that.
Oh my God, man. Please don't.
War would break out in the streets, I tell you. God damn.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Oh, man.
We want to get into ratings?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, not again.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
I'll say I enjoy when shows have repercussions to their fights, and we kind of see that, and we kind of don't see that. As in, I like Junpei's character, and they killed him off, and that's like a repercussion, and there's consequences to that. I like to see it. In contrast, you have these super dope fights, and then the villain ends up getting away somehow, and it's kind of unsatisfying for the fight, but that doesn't take away from it too much for me. The animation is nutty. The music is nutty. I'm going to give it a 9, man. I'm giving it a 9.
Okay.
Nice. Wow. That echoes a lot of my feelings. That's very well said because, the repercussions to the fights, that was one of my flaws, just them getting away sometimes. Sometimes I felt like maybe, okay, they're going in a few different directions, but maybe not everyone's super developed right now. And so it's not like hitting that hard, but it's rating it a single season is different from a show to me. So it's really tough. Like it could go up and it's just a different criteria, man. Like it could go down. I think as a season and as like a setup for like, if the show like completely pays off on this, I think I can go with a 9 as well. Even though it's like, I don't know, just for people's like sake of reference, like I'm not saying it's like, it's not the same thing as Your Lie in April, where it's like a finished show. Yeah. And like you had this emotional story, and then so just for that context. But yeah, I'll probably go with like 8.75 or 9. It's one of the most exciting shows I've seen in a while, just for the future of Shōnen. It's pretty great.
Awesome. What about you, Cameron? What say you?
It's tough because I love the show a lot, and I can't think of very many things that they could do better. There's, like I said, there's some complaints with the show. It's like, I don't know, I kind of like giving out 10s because I like being happy with things. Like if you wanted to get super critical about it, but I'm not a fucking critic, I'm just an anime fan. So I don't know, man. If it's not perfect, but like, 10. I don't know.
Oh, dang.
Sheesh, man. All right.
Cool.
Because I like it as... I honestly, just for continuity's sake, I like it as much or better than things that I've given a 10 in the past. So it's like, I just have to at this point. Yeah. I mean, I guess I made my own bed, but...
Kind of shoot yourself in the foot, yeah.
Whatever.
That's awesome.
Whatever. I'm just an anime fan. I'm out here enjoying the fucking shows. We're all doing it. I love it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that perspective.
For sure. Okay.
All right.
It's your turn, Trevor.
I'm gonna move my mic stand real quick.
Okay.
All right.
I know it's coming.
Brace yourselves. Headphone users.
Headphone. Yeah.
It's the baby. It's a fucking 10, baby. No, dude, fam. This show has me more excited about a second season than Demon Slayer, and that's like really tough for me to say. God damn.
I agree. I was thinking of bringing up that point. Yeah.
And I don't want to compare them because it's easy to, but like Cameron said, like y'all said, this show does so many things right, and it is so incredibly top tier. Like if they just continue on this path, it'll be like one of the top tier shonen, like anime. Period. Like there's a reason why this show has so much hype. Like it lived up to my non-existing expectations. I had nothing to compare this show to. Like I had no idea what I was getting into.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And Rocio was telling me that she had a friend that was like, she watched the show and she's seen like a million shows or whatever, and like this became like one of her favorite anime. And I was like, what? Like it's brand new. It's literally brand spanking new. It came out October last year.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So I'm giddy. I can't wait for more shit of this, man.
Awesome.
Yeah. This shit is fire.
That's so good.
Big fire.
I'm so glad we're all love it so much, man.
I was excited to watch the show because none of us, apart from Cameron, had watched it. Like that was like really exciting for me. So
yeah,
I had not finished the show. I think I was on like episode like 16 or 17, something like that, and that's when I started. I had like marathoned it in like 2 or 3 days, like all those episodes, and just because obviously this is one of those shows where you just hit next episode even though it's 4 a.m. So it's yeah, I can't say anything else, honestly. It's just so fucking good.
Yeah, no. So, my little gripes with it, with like the lackluster like exchange event part, for me at least, and you know, just like the unsatisfying like not killing villains when they should absolutely kill villains. But other than that, man, like this show was
I regained my train of thought. What I was gonna say, I was on episode 16 after I had been marathoning it and everything, and I texted the group. So I know that there's like 8 episodes left in this show, and I'm like, boys, we gotta do Jujutsu Kaisen next. I know, it's the truth. It just is. It's like so fucking good. We gotta cover it. It's gonna end right about like when we're gonna finish My Hero series. Like we gotta just dive right into this, and I'm so happy we did. I'm so happy you guys liked it as much as I did, and I'm not surprised. So
yeah, seriously,
it's my second time.
Speaking of ending My Hero and now Jujutsu, the next series we're going to be covering is kind of like similar to our My Hero series, a 3-parter. Look forward to Attack on Titan, baby.
Oh shit! Sheesh. You want to talk about dark shows, and none of that Cam just said came through at all. He was like,
"Did it not?"
Yeah, you went like. Let me show you how it's done. Sheesh!
All right,
there you go.
Sheesh. Thanks, babe.
Yes.
Yeah. No, going from a gritty and funny show to just a gritty show is going to be quite the juxtaposition, but we'll see.
Yeah, this very interested to see what's going on.
A war anime, so
right. Oof. I mean, nothing really. Obviously, I don't even want to get Trevor's expectations in any certain place. Obviously, hyped show. It'll be interesting for me to go back to because I watched it as it came out, and it's season 1 came out in like 2013, I think.
Yeah,
so,
a while ago.
Yep.
Yeah, look forward to that. Attack on Titan, tackling a huge one.
Might be one.
Huge.
It's definitely one of the biggest anime like ever.
Yep.
Like without question.
Yep.
So that's exciting.
It's a worldwide phenomenon. I think it's at this point with all the hype surrounding it, it's probably the one that the most people have heard of.
It's up there with My Hero and Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. Like it's that popular.
Yeah. I mean, this last season it was like the most popular, like whatever it was. I think I mentioned Jujutsu Kaisen was number 2, and this was number 1. So just of this one, and it's been going for years, man. So
we are getting spoiled with some good anime right now.
For sure.
Yeah, that season was ridiculous.
We'll see our thoughts on that when we get to it. But in terms of popularity, you know where it's at already. Thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you all are excited to be anime fans as we are. God dang. Been real. Just leave it at that. And my weird, awkward pose.
Pick it up. I must say, yeah, super hyped for all the anime. We are absolutely going stupid dummy in 2021 with it.
For sure.
Yep, I love you all for sticking with me, sticking with us on the journey. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I love knowing that the more popular everything gets, the bigger the budgets get, the bigger the higher the dedication gets. Everything just improves with popularity, and so we're getting it. We're getting the good stuff right now, and I don't know how it can get better, but somehow it might, and I'm really fucking excited for that. So yeah. All that being said, we will see you guys next time, and I'll say sayonara, Tomodachi.
Yeah, you said that you don't know how it can get better. I think we're just like on the cusp of like the golden era of anime.
Me too.
It's a fun time to be a fan of this medium and try and share some shows with your friends and watch them together, discuss them. This is what it's all about. Not just having yourself in isolation. You gotta speak with your friends and family about the shows that you enjoy. Yeah, and we just have an excuse to watch bomb-ass shows and talk about it.
That was the wrong way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jesus Christ. Well, it looks like we're out of here, so we will be back in 2 weeks with the first season of Attack on Titan. So until then, peace out, baby.